we already have some issues coming up. Just kidding. We started taking a lot of things apart, but we are going to go through the service menu on the Model Y Juniper. So follow us. So for those of you that don't know, this actually works on all Teslas, but you can go to service mode by going to software and holding the actual logo, and then it'll ask for a code and you just put service, and then you press a warning, and then you go to enter. So it gives you a lot of really debugging diagnostics area in terms of information, but it also gives you an idea of how the car is made, which I love this idea because it gives you more knowledge on how to fix your actual own car. So first off, this is the vehicle info. I don't think there's anything important to kind of see. This is of course a FSD computer number 4. It is running on a 44.58.1. I do have service alert, but again, that's because we removed some stuff on the car. So that'll be fine once we install it. There's no service history or anything like that. But you could actually do things like remove speed limit, enable phone, Bluetooth, like stuff like this. This typically gets disabled during a service mode. So on the driver, this video is just going to be us going through every single setting. On cameras, you can see that left repeater, the camera fin drop because I don't have it installed right now and we remove it. But of course, there's a camera right here in the front, which is similar to the Cybertruck. And then you have the cameras right here, which is going to be the front right here. Right, you have the camera right here in the inside, which is what this is. And then you got the side repeaters on the pillars, the B pillars, and then you got another one in the rear. So if your cameras didn't work, you could actually do something called reset DAS, driver's assistance systems. And that typically will, like if your camera is down after wrapping, after you removed it, all that, this is typically what we tell people to do. And that resets everything within 5 minutes and you'll get it back. But you can see that you get some of these other informations. This is a little bit not in our alley, like we're not as technical, but these are really cool things. You got the ECU features and GNSS right here. So this is kind of like the camera, the autopilot functionalities. And then once you go here, you get infotainment, and that is a lot of speakers. It right away warns me that changing speaker settings will impact chimes and pedestrian warning speaker. Oh, that's cool that you can edit that at least. So this is really cool. You could actually test it. You can reset the audio. You could, invisible speakers, woofers. Those are your woofers, right? So you got two in the back and then the side. 200 millimeter door woofer, left front woofer. That's really cool. That gives you some of this information. And then these are all it actually gives you detail, right? So you got a 25 millimeter tweeter. And then I think if you click on it, oh, no, I'm not trying to edit it. Whoops. I didn't realize if you click on it, it edits it. So, but it gives you some of this information, right? You got a 60 millimeter Coscom, 100 millimeter full range, and these are different frequencies, right? So typically, I'm not an sound engineer, but typically there's like treble, mid, and then bass. And different frequencies, like bass being on the lower end, mid tones being in the mid end, and then high frequencies being in, very, very high end. And I believe human ear can hear like 20,000 hertz or something like that, right? So somewhere around there, this kind of creates a really nice experience. So this is a lot. This is a lot of speakers. We played it on our first ride back, and it sounded amazing, right? So it was really cool. But this also you can do sine frequency, which is really cool. So we might do another video with our neighbor. He does sound engineering. And like I said, our human ear can hear about 20,000. Some people can hear a little bit more, but dogs can hear way more. That's why they have really, really good hearing. So this kind of gets you kind of to really tweak it how you want. So if you're a person that loves audio, this is awesome that you have this functionality, in my opinion. So that's that. And then you got in the high voltage, there's actually a high voltage system. It gives you some of the battery state. You got support 49.1, power disconnect. Everything's in the green, red being something problematic. So this is what it looks like. This is very similar to the previous one, so nothing new here. You got charging. So this also tells you the state. We are not currently charging. We're at 161, which is about 55%. But it gives you some of the nominal temperatures, the min temp, max temp, and all these different functionalities or statuses of, and it also gives you like the temperature of the current pin temp. So right now it's around 19 Celsius, and it kind of gives you understanding if you need to debug or diagnose something, right? So that's in the charging side. Actually, I skipped the whole area because there's, after in the infotainment, there's connectivity. You can see I'm connected via Wi-Fi, and then you got cell right here, and you got modem. We are roaming, and then we got Tesla connection, and you can do an A to B check, right? If you know what that means, let me know. I'm not going to Google it right now, but this is what it looks like in terms of the connectivity, which makes sense. And then in display, touch check. This is tap to the display, exit tap to corners. Okay, so that's kind of weird. So it's just checking basically the, I guess like the check of the display, right? That's working. I had no issues with that. You got software, infotainment. You can see that there's bank A of about 2.6 gigs, autopilot, and then maps right there. And then you can do ECU update status. Okay, that's a different setting. But under software, you could actually do a software reinstall. And typically that's common if you had a firmware and didn't work or something had an issue with it, then you could actually do a software install. You could also ask your service center and they can push something out and you could re-update it. So sometimes that's necessary. I haven't had to do that very often. So you got update status, which you saw earlier. And then within this, I again kind of skipped that. So we go to charging, we saw that. High voltage battery, you could actually start SOH. This is pretty much if your battery, you think your battery is not doing well, you can actually do a test yourself. Ground C shipping, they say discharge to below 45%, which is actually true. And then if it's in different air low, it also tells you to get it to a certain 45% state of charge, right? That's because if you're kind of storing it for long periods, you don't want it at 100%. That's not very safe for the battery. So you want to keep it under 45% if you're doing ground C shipping. HVIL, this also shows you some of the information of how the power is being generated to the front. And this is really cool. So I think this is going to be exciting for a lot of people. This is something that Tesla's been adding on. This isn't necessarily new, but we just want to show it if there's any differences that you guys can find on the Model Y 2026 Juniper. So on the drive unit, the speed limit currently is on because it is on service mode, right? Whenever you're on service mode, it puts it on a speed limit so that, you know, you're not driving it super fast or anything. You got normal mode, which I'm assuming goes back and forth. Then you got front drive unit statuses, and then also the rear drive unit as well. So that's it. As far as the battery, you got keys. I got 2 pair of keys, and then we got a bunch of us right here. You got the card right here. You got phones, right? So we got our team already on it. You got 2 key cards, right? And you can see that this is left BLE. I'm assuming that's left Bluetooth, rear left. So these are, I think, Bluetooth sensors from what I understand.
And for the pillar?
It's not for the pillar. Pillar is actually RFID, right? So the key cards that are right here, they're actually RFID, but Bluetooth for your phone. So there's a lot of sensors so that it works so well, right? Your phone, like I never use key cards, right? So this pretty much allows you to be able to use your phone, and you know it has different channels as well in different decibels. So this is kind of cool. They can show some of that information. So you got power distribution right here, clear post-crash load shed. You got the lithium-ion battery, right now. Like I said earlier, it was a 16 volt, like one of my videos. So right now the voltage is standing at about a 15.56 volt. And this is the lithium-ion that they actually updated, I forget, in 2022, I think, with the lithium-ion batteries. And then you got PCS, high voltage battery pack contactors, and then you get some of the voltage meters as well. So a lot of times if you have any power distribution issues, like even for the Cybertruck, you can actually go in here and kind of see what's going on. So one of the cars I ever worked on the Cybertruck, the VC front right here had an issue. I actually called Kyle from Out of Spec, and he told me to go here, and this is how we were able to find some of the issues. and we noticed that it wasn't generating the voltage that it was supposed to, which was why it wasn't working. So this is a really good starting point if you have any voltage issues. Interior lighting, you can see that it's all lit, address RGB lights. I don't know what that means. Oh, I don't want to run that. So it just probably will go crazy. It's like I have no issue with that. HomeLink retrofit. I would love to retrofit that because, okay, maybe you can. I'm not a big fan of using like the app thing, but I mean, at the same time, we have a clicker, so we can use that. On the thermal, you can actually do a thermal fill drain. Obviously this is a brand new car. We really don't need to do a thermal drain. But this is what they would do: test HVAC performance, thermal performance, and so on. You got alignment and tires. This is pretty cool. You can see this is my steering wheel. I can move it, and it tells me the degree of movement. Boom, centered, not centered. All right, so if you have any issues with steering, unless you really know what you're doing, I wouldn't touch this, to be honest. But this is really cool to be able to see the degree that you're in. Right now it's parked in our warehouse, so we don't really need to change that at all. You got TPMS. So most of the new ones, actually all the new ones, are going to be Bluetooth. It used to be a radio frequency, specific hertz, megahertz, in terms of the sensors. So now all of them are actually Bluetooth, and you could do the calibration within your service center without going into this setting. But this gives you a little bit more information on voltage meters and so on. So steering, you got this is not like the Cybertruck, right? So this is connected right here, so you can see how it's actually connected. So this is just really cool to be able to see some of this. And I think for people who don't know a lot about cars, this really gives them an insight of how it all kind of works, which is interesting. You can also calibrate steering column. Again, if you don't know what you're doing, I wouldn't touch this. You could also look at some of the, I think this is like, if I click on something, watch, or I don't know what this is actually. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. SCCM, you got the brakes, EPB, service mode, brake burnishing, and these are service stuff. So if you're a shop, you know what this is. If you're not a shop, don't mess with that. And then you got closures, which is windows, which pretty much shows, you can see as I'm kind of moving the front window, right, the side driver window, you could see that it's calibrating. So this is another part where you could actually, sometimes the door gets stuck, and actually a tip is you just push this down all the way and it kind of calibrates on its own. But if that didn't work, you can actually do it here and calibrate the door, the windows right here. You got the front latch switch. It talks about the switch. This is actually very, very similar. We did a video about removing the front tub. When we actually opened it, you could see the little latch right there. And this is the motor, the actuator right here. And this is the actual motor. And this is the actual latch right here. So that's that. And then you go here, you got the airbags. You obviously have side airbags. There's actually only one right here. And then you have one for the steering wheel. You also have one, I guess, right here. There's a lot of airbags. And of course, the sides also can fire away. One of the most, I guess, safest vehicle out there in the market. So you got the seats. I think where's this main RCF? So that's pretty much it as far as the whole thing in terms of, I think the notable thing is this is really cool that you can edit some of your speakers. If you have any questions, let us know. This isn't something that is a little bit outside of our ballpark, but that's okay. We just wanted to show you what the settings are in the service mode. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. Click on that subscribe button, and we'll see you later.